hell just happened? I think I'm here. Oh, so hello and welcome to the Flipping and Wholesaling Houses in New York show. I am Michael Pinter, where I teach you how to start flipping or wholesaling houses, or if you're already doing it, how to grow your business. Now, I got a question of what are my thoughts on virtual wholesaling, so I'm going to tell you them. Um, my thoughts are it's probably good, right? And I have friends out of Tampa who started their business and were dedicated to virtual wholesaling. They said even if the house is next door to our office, we're not going there, right? We got to create a system that's replicatable, duplicatable, I don't know, scalable. So they said they're not going to go. Now I started this working here in New York, and when I learned this business really 10 years ago, I had sort of ingrained in my brain that I needed to go face to face with the person. That gave me a better chance to buy the property. And I still believe that's true to some extent. But the best explanation I heard of going virtual or person to person really heard from John Martinez, who is a great sales trainer, sold his business, great guy. And he said, listen, if you have enough time to go on all your good, decent appointments live, then go on them. It gives you the best chance to buy it. If you're inundated with leads and you have so many leads that you can't possibly go on every appointment, then you need to get some kind of virtual component to your business, in that if you can speak to 10 people and make 10 offers in the time that you can go on one appointment, you'll end up making more money. So I believe that. Now unfortunately in New York, I've never gotten to the point in my business where I'm inundated with leads ever, right? I dream of that day, right? Where I have too many leads. I've never gotten there. And for all I know, I may never get there, right? I'm not drowning in leads. I'm not. But as I do some virtual wholesaling in other places, there's a lot more leads. So I'm in a sort of a weird point in my business right now where I'm trying to train my leads managers that we need to be much more do things more quickly when I'm outside New York, right? Because in New York, everything moves at a snail's pace, right? A quick wholesale deal for me is 2 months. You tell it to somebody in another state, they're going to laugh, right? A quick wholesale deal in most other places is a week or two. And a quick wholesale deal for me is 2 months because of the attorneys that are involved and just the length of time that it takes to get everything going through the system. But in other places, if you're not quick, you're going to lose that property to somebody else. So I think it's important to understand that it really depends where you are. So if you're in New York, right, and if you have some amazing lead generation capabilities where you can get inundated with leads, then you probably should be some portion of it virtual. If you're outside of New York, and you have boots on the ground, you've got to really determine whether it's worth it to go out and do a face-to-face appointment. Now, it's also seller specific. There are sellers that if you tell them I'll make you an offer, and they might say something like, "Well, you're not even going to see the property." Then you better say, "Oh no, I'm going to see the property, but I want to give you a range now, and then I'm going to give you a better number later." And then there are sellers who couldn't care less if you come see the property. They prefer if you don't see the property, right? Now, also the big differences between New York and outside New York is that outside New York, you go to contract, and then you have an inspection period of time. In New York, inspections get done before the contract. So that time is amazing. So you can lock up a property, get a contract signed outside New York, and then you send somebody to take pictures. And if it looks much worse, or if you can't find a buyer, you can get out of the contract. But in New York, it's not like that, right? Every contract I've got into in New York, I either have to close on or assign the contract to. Every single, unless there's a title issue, right? If there's a title issue, that's my one way out of the deal. So I have to be sure every time, really sure, that that it's a good deal, right? So I think virtual wholesaling is probably a better way to go if you're going to be doing this in multiple locations eventually, right? If you learn how to do it. The problem with virtual wholesaling in New York is that the concept of locking up a deal and then checking it out really doesn't fly in most times in New York, right? It can be done, but it's hard, much harder. And most people are going to say, "Hey, let's get this contract signed. My attorney's going to send it out to you." But on scaling a business, sorry, virtual wholesaling much better idea for sure. And really, when I got into this 10 years ago, I didn't know it was possible, right? But again, I only had experience in New York, and New York is like a different planet when it comes to everything else. So if you're starting in the business and you are just not in New York, or even if you're in New York, I would say try to get a virtual hold on this. And really, when we say virtual, what we mean is who's we? what I mean is that you're not going out there face to face and checking out the property, right? You can do virtually, send someone else, or someone goes out to take pictures, so you get a better idea of what the repairs are and really what's going on in the area. It's important to know the area also, right? When I go on face-to-face appointments, really for a few reasons. The first is to build rapport with the seller so that they hopefully will sell the property to me and not to somebody else because they feel like I've spent the time to come out there. Number two is I'm trying to get an idea of the repair estimates, right? Number three, I'm also trying to get an idea of the area, right? Sometimes there are things you just can't see from Google Maps all the time. Like are do the neighbors have 27 pit bulls, right? And I have to show this property, that's going to be an issue. Can't always see it, right? That thing in the backyard is a boat that has grass growing out of it. There are things that you almost cannot see. But the beauty of virtual wholesaling anywhere but New York, or in New York if you're able to get like an option contract, is that you can lock up the property and get it under contract and then go check out these things, have somebody else go take a look at it. So my thoughts on virtual wholesaling, if I could change everything I did 10 years ago, I'd probably do much, much more of it. Because it's much more scalable. And just in theory, if you have a lot of leads, you can make a lot more offers virtually than you can if you're going out to see them. The biggest problem with driving out to see a property is the amount of time it takes to get there and get back, right? It's not feasible. I mean, it's not unreasonable for it to take several hours, right, in New York traffic. So, I would say more than 3 appointments a day, very hard. I've had days with 4 appointments, but 3 appointments a day is really the whole day. And it's probably not the best use of my time. I really should hire an acquisitions manager to do it. But my thoughts on virtual wholesaling, if you're new, certainly wherever you are, you should probably focus on it. Try to do it every time. If you're out of New York, for sure. If you're operating in an area that's not here, you don't have a choice, right? So I'm trying to buy some properties in certain cities in Texas now. I don't have a choice. I'm not flying out there to go check it out. So I think it's probably the right way to do things. How about that? I believe that, right? I wish 10 years ago I had tried to build a business like my friend in Tampa where everything is virtual. We never go see the property. I would have absolutely lost some deals that I've closed in the past 10 years, but I probably would have closed more deals overall. So you've got to understand that, right? Or you can take the position of I'm only going to go out to see it if the seller really requires it, right? Those are my thoughts. And this is coming from somebody who very rarely does a virtual deal. So, but I think it's probably a better system. I really do. I do think virtual is a better system. So that's all I got. I hope this was helpful. If you're interested in all the ways I can help you, go to howtoflipnewyork.com or learntoflipandwholesale.com. If you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe. If you're watching on any media channel, please click the thumbs up. The likes really help the algorithm. A lot more people have been liking my videos, and they therefore show my videos to a lot more people. And it's a great cycle, and I appreciate everyone who has liked my videos. So please keep the thumbs up coming. What else? Please keep the comments and the questions coming. I post 5 times a week. I almost never have a clue as to what I'm saying before I start. Sometimes I don't have a clue what I'm saying even when I do speak. But your questions give me topics to discuss. And they give me ideas for future topics if I don't have any questions. So you can ask any question. It does not have to be about the video you're watching. If it's simple answer, I'll just reply with an answer. If it's something that I covered recently, I'll send you a link to a video. And if it's something that I haven't covered in a while or I've never covered, I'll do a brand new video on it. So thank you very, very much for watching.